Hello.
Oh, it's taking you long enough.
Yeah, sorry, there were some complications. But
Yeah,
we're here and we're ready to talk about the Empire
yeah.
Strikes. But I mean, Return of the Jedi. I mean, what is it? The Last
The
Jedi?
last
The Last
Jedi.
Jedi. Yes.
Uh,
Did
yeah.
did I? Okay, my understanding is that everybody hates this film.
My understanding is that this is the film where everyone accepts that the sequel trilogy properly went off the rails.
Okay, having not seen the third one, I don't have that luxury of retrospectively looking
The
back.
We'll talk about it properly when we've done the next one.
Yeah,
But I will say that the consensus is that The Force Awakens wasn't too bad.
yeah,
It was a safe movie,
yeah.
but it was all right in the grand scheme of things. But
Mhm.
this one threw a load of shit out the window, and the third one was a unfortunately failed attempt to fix things.
To get things back on track. Right. I
That's my understanding of the general consensus amongst Star Wars fans.
so
But the thing about Star Wars fans is they hate Star Wars. So
what's your overall view of this film as what do you think?
there are some individual moments that are brilliant. The general quality of the film is poor.
I I agree. Basically,
Good God!
I wouldn't put
Is
it
that
in
the
the
first time we've done that in this entire series?
That's not how I would have said it. I would have said there's some bits that are fucking excellent. Some things I really,
Okay.
really like.
Yeah.
Um, but overall, I think it's a pretty messy film.
Yeah.
Is this film runtime wise any longer than the others? Are they all about
Um,
this length?
from I think it's 2 hours 10. This one, if you ignore the credits,
Because
about there.
this
About
one felt like a fucking eternity.
it does.
The
It does.
pacing is way off. There's like a final battle at the end, and you think, okay, that's the perfect place to end it. It's like, oh shit, there's 40 fucking minutes left.
Yeah. Yeah. There's still shit going
You
on.
you could have trimmed this. I say that about every Star Wars film, but it's never felt more pertinent than this one. You could seriously trim the fucking fat from this.
Yes. There's a comment that I wrote down that I won't say it just yet, but yeah, at some point.
Well,
So we open this one with the old title crawl as you get in most of the Star Wars films. The gist of it is that the bad guys are in control of things, apparently, having
yes,
seemingly somehow taken control of the galaxy after their
this
big bad weapon got
this
destroyed.
destroyed the Republic that we hardly saw in the first one. But okay, whatever.
The bad guys know where the good guys are, so they're having to escape.
Yes, they've tracked them down to the ice moon of Hoth.
Well, no, you're jumping through. You're jumping
I,
forward. You're jumping forward. I
I,
will say,
that was
I
my
will say, this is supposedly only set like a few days after the last
yeah,
one,
makes sense. I did have
which does make sense, but it does make things a bit silly in that they've somehow taken control of the galaxy
yeah,
so
I
fucking quickly.
this was my first oh for fuck's sake moment
Yeah.
because I was reading that text forward and I thought, oh, okay, it was one thing last time, basically doing a New Hope for the most part, but I read that and thought, oh great, now we're doing Empire because we have no fucking ideas. They've tracked down the rebel base and are preparing to make their assault, and the rebels are all evacuating. I thought,
Yeah, pretty
okay,
much.
like for fuck's sake, I look forward to the Ewoks in the next one.
Oh well, actually, funny you say that.
uh,
It's not
uh,
quite that bad, but um, there was one moment of there was one thing that brought a smile to my face, which I know you'll have disliked.
oh, crikey.
Um, from the very opening sequence,
Yeah,
and that's that I actually quite like Adrian Edmondson as an actor. I was quite pleased to see him. I know it's a
yeah.
stupid thing that he's in, but I like seeing him in stuff.
There's another. I mean, we talked about him last time. I don't know whether it was
Literally,
recorded,
specifically him. Yeah.
but we did also mention that for some reason the first one, more than any other film in the in the Star Wars universe, had a lot of British actors we'd both seen from somewhere else. There was a lot of oh, it's that guy slash girl,
Yeah.
and this one
Yeah.
continues the trend. And I think maybe it's
It
just
does.
because Star Trek has sort of or Star Wars reached its cultural zenith, maybe after the
Hmm.
prequels, and so they were just able to get all these you know, properly trained British actors who
Yeah.
were just
Yeah,
jobbing
they may well
actors because there were I couldn't tell you what their names were, or maybe even not even what they were in. But every now and then there'd be an Imperial officer who was like, "Oh,
be.
you look
Yeah.
familiar." I like the captain of the. We're skipping ahead a little
Of a
bit.
dreadnought.
Yes, he stood out to me as a character. I kind of wish he
I I
was a leading figure in this whole story. I
I
like,
made a single note about him, and that's what I have. I have a surprising amount of respect for the Imperial in charge of Madrid. He
yeah,
seems to have an actual military understanding and got
yeah,
unlucky. Simple as
yes.
that. He just got unlucky.
He seems to know what he's talking about, and I respect him, his sort of courage in the face of his death.
Yeah, it's the thing about what was the line? It's we should have done it 5 bloody minutes ago
Yeah, yeah.
about the scrambling the fighters, and he was absolutely spot on. They shouldn't have fucking. They
Well,
shouldn't have
yeah.
waited. They should have just done it.
I don't,
There's one fighter there. All these other ships, presumably on some sort of radar,
yeah. I don't know
because they
how.
have scanning systems. Because there's that bit in Empire, isn't there, where Falcon managed to evade it by clinging
Yes,
onto the ship.
I
So
don't.
these systems exist.
I don't know why Hux is in charge.
Because he is in charge of the military.
Okay, why is he in charge of the military?
Because he was in charge in the last one, and therefore he must have somehow risen to that
But
position.
why was he in charge in the last one?
No, I'm saying he must have
What are
somehow
his
risen to
character
that.
traits? Well, this I
He's a Nazi. That's how he managed to.
he's just more fervently fascist than everybody else. Okay,
It seems that way. I mean,
that
you saw
makes
his
sense.
speech on.
Yeah, fair
You saw his
enough.
speech on the other.
Okay, yeah, I buy it.
We
Okay,
get this bit where Poe disobeys orders.
yeah.
That's not going to happen again, is it?
Well,
There was
yeah.
another thing, another comment I made about Poe, and that's that I feel like in this one they're trying to make him the comedy element of the film.
I mean, he was to an extent in the first one, but the comedy, I know what you mean, and we'll fucking get to it shortly. Because
Okay, go
that,
on then.
but well, yeah, the comedy in this film isn't great. There's like one moment that stands out to me that I did get a genuine laugh out of me.
Okay.
But this scene, this was the
I think
moment.
I know what it might be as
This was
well.
this was the moment when I messaged you. I was like, I'm forming
Yes.
because we never talk about the films when we're watching them. But I broke with tradition because I was so fucking appalled at what I was seeing with this this phone call where Poe pretends he can't hear General Hux, and Hux like goes through his little speech again, like a shortened version, and there's a bit of back and forth that goes on a little too long. I watched it and was
Can
like,
you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear
I
me?
watched it and was like, is this Baseballs? Is this like it felt like such a fucking spoof, like way down to
I've shaken hands with someone from Spaceballs.
the yes you have softest hands
Yeah.
you've ever touched. There, I did it for you.
They really are.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. Just the way Hux's actor plays him as like it's too over the top. I think in general, and sometimes I like it, and sometimes I don't. But it did that combined that whole scene just felt to me like
I
a
have a feeling
spoof.
I'm going to make it worse for you
Oh
by saying
fuck off!
something here.
Go on.
Do you watch with subtitles?
No.
No, I do out of habit. And would it annoy you to find out that Poe was actually saying General Hugs? Hugs.
Yes. Of course it fucking would.
Because the subtitles for his section had it as Hugs rather than Hook.
Maybe that's a subtitle fuck up. I don't know.
Well, no, because they had it right. They had it as Hooks when Hooks was saying it.
Well,
So
I couldn't hear that, and I didn't pick up on it.
it just
I hated that. I hated it so much. It was
yeah.
just it felt like I was watching a fucking Zucker Brothers spoof of Star Wars. I fucking hated it. But
Well, that's perfectly reasonable.
I did like what it led to, which was the bomber run that got everybody killed and destroyed
You
one
see,
ship.
I was less keen on that. I like the emotional weight of that one particular bomber.
Yeah,
I don't like the scene.
I do.
Okay.
And I like Poe's arc in this a lot, and we'll come on to this later when Laura Dern makes her appearance. Um, but I really like that, and it's. I came away thinking this arc is like a good episode of Star Trek, you know, because Poe wants to get out there. Poe wants to get out there and fight. And when he comes back, Leia's like, "Okay, you took out one ship, but we've lost all our bombs. This was entirely well done. We do not have the people to burn on this. You know, we do not have the luxury of throwing lives away." I mean, she doesn't say that, but that's the general gist of it. Like this is. It felt like a victory, but really wasn't.
No, not when you weigh it up properly.
No, we need to manage our resources a lot better than that, and it plays into his desire to take action and fight and hit back rather than maybe playing it a bit smarter and sometimes erring on the side of caution and live to fight another day. But we'll get to that. And I can't remember anything much that happens in this film, so
you watched it. You finished watching it 20 minutes ago.
Okay, put it this way. I remember a good chunk of it. I can't tell you when it happened.
Okay, fair enough.
Because there's so fucking much.
I do quite like. You probably won't remember it, but I do quite like the visual of him landing on the ship just before they.
Yeah.
Like he flies into the hangar. There's this moment where he literally he's just inside the hangar and he's cutting the engine and it's cramped and there's no fucking space. And something about that just works for me visually.
Yes.
But I didn't get the pick of that because I was in a rush.
Yeah. I just want to mention while it's on my mind. I think they use R2D2 and C3PO exactly the right amount so far in these films.
Yes, barely.
Yes.
If only they did the same with the other original cast members.
No, I'm fine with that.
Although Chewbacca barely gets used.
Yeah, I know. They do fuck all with Chewbacca. There's nothing really interesting to do with Chewbacca because he just sort of growls.
Yeah, and he pilots ships, and he does a bloody good job of it.
He does. But yeah, we'll yes, please continue.
I didn't like the design of the bombers either. I thought that it was a ridiculous fucking design, and relies on a physical thing that doesn't technically exist.
Gravity.
Bingo. Doesn't exist in that context.
Yeah.
and if it like, there's no indication that having the bay door open. They're in space.
Yeah.
And the bay doors are open.
Yeah.
But they can breathe.
Yeah. There's a shield or something.
Like, it doesn't. There's none of it is. It's one of those things where you sort of have to show it. I feel
it's borrowing the optics of World War II, is what it is.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because exactly like they did in.
It's a classic.
Right?
Well, yes, in the original. I mean, I think you can argue that the originals did it much better because it was applying that sort of visual style to science fiction rather than just not directly lifting it, but you need to change maybe a bit more. It didn't bother me, but I appreciate where you're coming from.
Yeah. So we also see Finn briefly waking up from his coma. And
I was like, why is he in there? Because I'd forgotten. And I'm still not entirely sure. He got into a fight with Darth Ren. Kylo Ren. Yeah, and they said,
and he got wounded and he ended up inside I'm assuming it's a Bacta suit.
Some sort of thing like that, yeah.
Like a Bacta tank, but mobile.
Yeah.
And again, comedy element with him leaking.
Yes.
Like, that's the whole fucking point of that, isn't it? There's no other purpose for that.
Yeah.
It's just silly.
Yeah.
And it sort of detracts from the emotional weight of having lost so many people so recently before it, I feel.
Yeah. I mean, I think... Yeah, I mean, the series is jumping through hoops to get it to that sort of stage where we're on the back foot here and we're getting our asses handed to us because by rights, they really shouldn't have been.
No, it's true.
They've still got enough... Just because the core systems are... I don't know. It's just a lazy way to do it. There's a lot of laziness and lifting and just doing what the original trilogy did and trying to stick to that template, and there's so much more interesting things you can do, and some of them they do, and some of them they don't. But yeah,
See, it makes sense in as to why the rebels are on the back foot in the original trilogy, right? Because we see them send what we have to assume is every ship they have
yeah,
to blow up the Death Star, and like 3 of them come back.
yes, and the
They are
Empire
very definitely on the back foot.
has probably made a point of going out of its way to throw every resource it has to sort of hit back after losing their massive super weapon almost
Yeah,
immediately.
because like
It
we
makes
know that
sense.
that's not all they have. It's
Yes,
not the only thing the Empire have. They've got the entire fucking galaxy in
yes,
their space.
the Empire are not messing around in that moment. They've been,
Yeah.
the rebels are being hit from every angle.
I mean, just from a logistics point, the amount of probes they sent out to find them on Hoth
Yeah,
is absurd. There's
yes,
fucking thousands of them, and
yeah.
it's like
They
they have money to burn.
they went from being minor persistent irritation to being public enemy number one.
Yeah,
That's what it was.
yeah.
Um,
Um,
so
whereas here,
yeah,
doesn't
it's
it doesn't feel right, does it? It just feels
yeah, like
off.
the
Like you
the
say.
the background of this whole conflict needs fleshing out a bit. Really,
Mm,
it doesn't. You need to establish very clearly what I guess the political situation is. You
yeah,
know, how did we get here? Why? What? Who controls what? It's sort of a bit loose. Um,
it is.
but anyway, first
Um,
thing Finn asks for is where's Ray?
yeah. And then
And
we join her.
yeah, she's on Luke's island
Yes.
in Cornwall,
Um, I believe it was Ireland.
Ireland. And she hands him his lightsaber and he picks it up and throws it over his shoulder and leaves.
Yes.
Yes.
How did you feel about that?
I fucking love what they do with Luke Skywalker in this, and I have a feeling it's very controversial. I heard that people were really pissed off with how Luke was played in this
See,
film.
I liked how Luke was played as well. He pulled off the regretful Jedi.
And you understand why.
Yes, it walks us through it in such a way that it makes
Yes.
sense. It's one of a few things they actually do right character wise,
Yes.
I feel.
I think Mark Hamill was really pleased with it as well. I
Yeah, and
believe.
that's understandable. I hope he had a hand in it because obviously he's played this role for such a long
I
fucking
don't
time.
either he really liked it and hated it in the next film, or he just really hated it. I don't know. I think it works really well and it makes sense because Kylo Ren was his pupil and
His nephew.
his nephew. It's later revealed he almost killed him because of his darkness, and he feels a lot of guilt over not being able to save him and the rest of his or the bulk of his students in his academy. And he's clearly been looking into the history of the Jedi, and he's like, "This is a fucked up thing.
Mm.
This is all my fault. The Jedi are not good for the galaxy. I need to get away and just sort of die alone and in hiding."
It's time for the Jedi to end.
Yes,
It's such a mood, isn't it?
yes, yes. This he feels about the same way about them as certainly you did throughout the entirety of the prequels. That
Yeah,
they were just it was hubris and arrogance and thinking they could control
yeah,
shit and not seeing the evil directly under their fucking noses.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. They couldn't see the wood for the trees
yeah,
on Endor of all places.
yeah, and it was like, yeah, well,
We
yeah.
see his X-wing, don't we, as well?
Yeah, that presumably he. I don't know. Did he push it in there? Did he crash land? Did the tide come in?
I'm assuming he just force lifted it in there.
Possibly.
Of course, if he had no intention of ever leaving, he'd have taken it apart, right?
I like the puffins.
The Porgs.
Porgs, yeah, the fat ass white girls, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They the bit where Chewbacca's cooking, having cooked one, and they're like,
Yeah, you could have cut that.
you could have absolutely cut that, but it's one of a few. It's one of like 4 things Chewbacca does. So you
Yeah, you got to give him something. And yeah, Luke has his daily routine, and Ray is trying to persuade him, and she's like, "Well, I think I've got this thing going on, and I kind of want help with it."
and that's a perfectly reasonable request, and it's perfectly accurate, and he does try and help.
Yeah, because he is a good. He's hesitant, but he's a good guy, and he's like, "Well, it's probably the right thing to do."
Mm.
Um, yeah, and
We He gets the books.
yes, The
actual
sacred,
physical
the sacred
original Jedi
Jedi
text.
texts from thousands of generations ago, which have survived very, very well. Presumably because
Petrified wood, probably.
they're written on space paper. It's fine.
Written on space paper on an island, where it's going to have a load of seawater in the air.
It's fine.
Naturally erodes things.
Yeah, it's fine.
Hidden
It's,
in a tree.
the Force did it. It's fine. The paper is full of midi-chlorians. It doesn't matter.
Now, I think that the thing that genuinely got a laugh out of you will be in this section of the film in terms of the plot, and I think it's one of two things.
Okay.
I'm going
Pick
to present both of them.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Pick one. Pick one.
Okay, I have a feeling it's going to be when he's fucking with her while she's sat on the stone.
No.
Damn it! Is it the Jakku Nowhere equivalent?
No.
Oh, okay. What was it then?
Well, the bit with when he was fucking with her on the stone, that sort of fell into the whole comedy being a bit not the sequel trilogy specialty.
No, that I thought was him tapping into taking the piss that Yoda did.
Well, yeah, maybe I didn't hate it, but it didn't make me piss myself laughing. No, it's
I mean, I didn't piss myself when I watched it. I just thought it was funny.
there was okay, so they're on this island and they do some training, and she sort of taps into the dark side a bit, and he shits himself because he's like, oh fuck, I'm not doing this again. And then he sees her training alone with the stick. And then she pulls out the lightsaber and sort of swings it at this rock. And it's important.
Okay.
It's important to mention that before she and Kylo Ren had a little thing, didn't they? That Snoke. Yes. Throughout part of the film, she keeps being connected with Kylo Ren and vice versa, and they have little conversations. And the first one, she's so freaked out, she tries to shoot him and shoots a hole through the wall. And then we see the nuns, the fish nuns, on the island who are the custodians repairing the wall. So they're not very happy with me. And then later when she's training with this rock, she cuts the rock and it falls down the cliff. And we get a shot of the rock coming and just sort of sweeping away this wheelbarrow full of food that these two nuns were pushing. And they just look up the mountain and she's looking back down. And I just thought that got me. That was funny. I thought
I would accept that is an amusing moment.
Because it's like, what the fuck? Please leave. Stop destroying our shit. I like that.
We get a little bit of I can't remember at what point it is in their training, but we get R2 do something.
Oh, I love that.
I thought that was a nice touch. Him
I
the original
loved
Leia
it.
message.
Yes.
Was a sensible, genuinely brilliant use
Yes.
of the original trilogy.
I really loved that. I thought that was great.
It would have been so easy to not do it out of fear of the backlash, but it made sense. Contextually, it was appropriate.
Yes.
It was the right thing to do there.
Yes. And I like that he still got it.
Yeah, well, I mean, R2 never gets his memory wiped, does he?
No. Yeah,
that's
no.
Anakin Skywalker thing. He refused to have it done.
Yeah, I really like that scene. It worked really well, as you say, because R2's kind of trying to persuade Luke to help Rey and maybe even go back. He's like, "There's nothing you can say," and then he starts playing the message. It looks like that was a cheap move because it worked. It worked. You could see him flashing back to Obi-Wan doing the same thing, and he's like, "Yeah, all right."
You have to come with me to Alderaan.
Yes.
Anyway, we need to leave that stuff because we've skipped something that I wanted to talk about, and we need to really get back to our main resistance people. So
okay,
there's a brief bit where, unless you have something specific you want to add.
No, I have no idea what I'm doing. Please take the lead.
There's a point at which we see Snoke criticizing Hux.
Oh.
They've been having a conversation. Hux walks out. And then Kylo Ren walks in. And Hux specifically says, Rabid Kerr, their weakness can be manipulated into a tool, or words along those lines. And then he uses the exact same play on Kylo Ren by criticizing him for being a Darth Vader wannabe.
Yeah.
Which riles him up and makes him try and go kill some people.
Yes.
He literally says what his what his plan is, what he does to people, and then fucking does it to someone, the person he's sent to.
Yes.
And I took note of that. I thought that was something that was interesting to.
I thought you when you started talking, I thought you mentioned the hologram scene where he appears on the bridge
Oh no, I mean there is that, but
and he throws Snoke
that's
around, which is incredibly powerful. And it sort of makes me want to talk about something a little later on regarding how the Force is displayed. I want to note at this point that Luke Skywalker and Rey are talking, and he asked her what she thinks the Force is, and she's like, "Oh well, it's a power that lets you move stuff."
yeah.
And he's like, "No, that's not what it is." And then he does the whole spiritual thing. I just want to put a pin in that
Okay.
because we'll come back to that when everybody turns into fucking gods.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so in that case, the next main group thing that happens is the attack on the main ship.
Yes, they tracked
So
them through
they get
hyperspace.
tracked.
Yeah.
Something that isn't meant to be possible, but there was actually it was name dropped in Rogue One as a thing that the Empire were working on.
Huh, that's neat.
You know when they were trying to find the Death Star plans in the archive,
Yeah,
hyperspace tracking got mentioned.
that's
And
pretty neat.
one of the. It's
So
just
did
a silly little
When
thing.
did Rogue One come out? Before or after this
I,
film?
I think before. I think it was the one before.
I think before. But
From memory, it was
Yeah.
it was 7, Rogue One, 8,
Hmm,
Solo, 9.
yeah. Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I mean that
That's a
makes
silly little touch.
yeah. Yeah, I approve. Yes, they come out and they start shooting shit up.
Yep.
And I think it's at this point. Is it at this point?
The whole bridge crew gets sucked into space.
Yeah. When does Finn try and escape?
After this,
Okay, so the bridge gets blowed up
bridge gets blown up. So many
and
people get sucked into space,
and killed. Admiral Akbar,
including our. Oh my god! It only gets a name mention once.
rest
right?
in peace, Admiral Akbar.
No more calamari for me.
No, that's some fried squid.
Yeah. Including Leia.
Yeah, she gets blowed up, except she doesn't. She gets
She
sucked
gets
off
sucked
out.
and then is fine.
Yes,
She sort of wakes up and
you know that thing I put a pin in.
yeah.
Well, I sort of want to direct your attention back to that again as Leia flies through space.
Yes.
I just want to do that. That's the first time I will be directing your attention back to that.
This is very definitely something that has been heavily criticised by the fans.
It's so, yeah. What the fuck, man?
Yeah, it is ridiculous. I think everyone who appreciates any form of Star Wars agrees it's ridiculous.
It's pushing the limits of what the Force can do, for a start.
I mean there are certain things that they do in the trilogy that historically aren't necessarily in the movies but are accepted Jedi or Sith abilities.
It's like
right?
I appreciate that coming from someone who's really fucking powerful, right?
Yes,
but I've
there's
only
no indication.
Yeah, I've only seen the movies, but I can appreciate that something as drastic as that being used to demonstrate the power of a particular character. But Leia's not. I mean, she's probably Force sensitive. I think it's established in other canons, and frankly, in the original trilogy a bit as well, that she's got some sort of Force sensitive abilities. But that's way too fucking much. And my other problem is it doesn't fucking lead into anything.
We do find out in the next one that she did do some training.
Well, it's still stupid.
I know, and I think if she hadn't died,
Yeah,
they'd have probably gone further into it.
they should have just. They should have just blown up the bridge and everything's fiery ruin, and now she's critically injured, and Admiral Akbar gets his head squished.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
It's just fucking weird. It's too much.
Yep. Yeah, it is.
So, with Leia critically injured,
Laura Dern gets put in charge.
yeah, that chick off of Jurassic Park, Dr. Ellie
Yeah.
Sattler with purple hair now.
Because space.
She is now the highest ranking person, and she takes charge.
Yes.
And Poe's been demoted, which is the last thing Leia did before she got blowed up. Except she didn't.
Because he got a load of people blowed up.
Yes, because it was like you are too. Yes, they did a stupid thing. so Dr. Sattler is not keen to share any information with him
Yes.
and tells him to get the hell off the bridge.
Yep.
So he overreacts and he's like, "We've got to figure some shit out."
Yes.
So Finn, who went to try and get Ray, but was caught by Rose, who zapped him, whose sister got blowed up.
Mhm.
They have a chat in front of C3PO, and they
Yep.
say, "We got to turn that tracker off. It's on the main ship. If we turn it off for a bit, they won't notice, and it'll give us time to get away. But we
Perfectly
need,
valid plan in the grand scheme of things.
yeah, we also very similar to that time they turned the tracker off in A New Hope. But who the fuck is counting? We need
What tracker?
the tractor beam. It's not quite the same thing, but
Oh, sorry. Yeah, yeah.
entering the enemy base to turn a thing off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm with you.
Hell, it's
Sorry,
not
that
even the
was...
first time they've done it in this fucking trilogy.
No, it's not.
Fuck's sake.
Deactivate the thing. So that... Yeah.
So they call that Mascanada lady, who's in
Yes.
the middle of a union dispute with guns.
And I just want to say here, I am genuinely more interested in following what she's doing than I am the rest of this film.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That is. I wish the film had been about that rather than about.
And she recommends that there's you need a really good code breaker, and she knows just the guy who's on this lovely casino Monaco planet. So you better go find him. So Finn and Rose are going to do that, and Poe is going to hold down the fort and get things set there. But he's pissed off.
Yeah. You don't have anything else to add to that?
What do you think of Rose?
I think she's a dumbass. I don't mind the actress because I know a lot of people gave her hate for what
Why?
is genuinely a badly written character rather than a bad portrayal. I think the character is a dumbass.
I think the character's sort of fine. Watching, that bit at the end was fucking.
That is what
that's really fucking stupid. But it sort of reminded me of an episode of Star Trek called Lower Decks. I think it's called Lower Decks. It's what the
There's a whole fucking.
I know that's inspired by this episode where it follows lower crewmen around. It's a TNG episode, and it's got a bunch of like not new recruits, but people working in other parts of the ship, minor characters, and there's a bit of Picard and stuff. I sort of thought, I don't know, if this was like a TV show, she'd be like in the Lower Decks episode as a character in her own right, and that might be interesting. So I don't hate the character. I don't think we'd lose anything by cutting her.
No.
No. But leave the actress alone.
There was a little bit of something amusing to me, in that she describes Canto Bight, the casino place, as a terrible place with the worst people in the galaxy.
Yes.
And we cut to it, and it's just rich people.
Yes.
Which
So
is
she's
quite a hot take
right.
coming from Disney.
Yes, it is. I do want to mention the fact that she says that she's had to stop 3 people from trying to escape already.
Yes.
And I like that little tidbit, that these are people not in the Rebel Alliance, not all purely good, and some of them are sort of looking to get out of there now that shit's really fucking hit the fan. I like that.
Okay, but the thing is, can you really blame these people for
No,
wanting to get
no.
the out of here, have what looks like the last chance before they're going to?
No, I completely get it, but I just think it's almost a bold move to present the Rebel Alliance as people rather than just nameless, faceless good guys. And it's something the Rogue One did well, and it's something that
with Cassian especially,
it's something that this film does well in places too. So yes, sorry, go on.
No, you go.
So they're on Monaco. Are we doing Monaco now?
Yeah.
Okay, so they land on Space Monaco, and as you said, it's full of rich people in this casino. Yeah. And I want to draw attention. I don't know whether you noticed this, but there's the opening shot is a long shot that goes through like people's arms and under people's arms and through tables and whatnot. Did you see that?
I remember the shot.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're going to get at.
I saw that and was like, oh, that's referencing that famous long shot from the 30s, from that film I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
and that's
I'll take your word for it.
yeah. It's like I saw that and was like, oh, that's practically fucking identical,
I
and I like
I know
that touch.
I know this is very off topic, but in 5 years it's going to be the 30s again.
Yeah, it is.
It's just now.
God, we'll have to get ready for the rise of fascism. Oh wait,
They've done it a bit early this century.
yeah,
Um,
it's 10 years sooner every time. Gosh,
Good God. So they get arrested because they parked on the beach.
yeah, yeah, yes,
The person who dobbed them in, we see an alien talking to the police.
yes,
You won't necessarily know this because you don't have subtitles, but their name is Slow and Low. SLOWEN
yeah.
space LO, which is a reference to the fact it's a Beastie Boys song, and
Yeah.
it's someone who was voiced by one of the Beastie Boys.
Oh right. All I thought when I heard that character was like, is that Foghorn Leghorn? It's like, oh, it's Foghorn Leghorn
sure.
/ Fred Elliott off of Corey.
Let me just double check, but I'm absolutely sure Slow and Low was voiced by one of the Beastie Boys. Oh no, it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh,
Voiced him.
he wasn't in the
Beastie
Beastie Boys.
It's named after a Beastie Boys.
Yeah, I just thought he sounded like Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, I can't remember why he's named after. Maybe he's just a fan of a fucking.
So they go in the casino and they track down the guy with the flower in his thing, and they're just about to talk to him, and then they get jumped by the pigs.
Yes.
And BB-8, BB-8,
Yep.
he is full of coins.
He is. Because some drunk alien has been put in.
Yes, and then they get arrested and go down to a cell, and then they meet Benicio del Toro off of License to Kill, amongst other things.
The usual suspects.
Yes, he raped Felix Leiter's wife.
In the film?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I know you want to talk about it, just very briefly. Slow and Low is the fourth, at least, character in the Star Wars sequel trilogy to be named after a Beastie Boys song, along with Elo Asti, Crusher Rudown, and Ilko Manika.
Yes.
So J.J. Abrams had a bit of a thing for the Beastie Boys.
He gave her a nice honeymoon. That's what he says in License to Kill.
He's got a bit of a stutter in this, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, again, what a character you can understand.
Yeah, it turns out he's a thief, and he breaks them out pretty easily.
He breaks himself out.
Well, he breaks himself. He offers his help, and they're like, "No, fuck off. You're just a drunk guy." And then he breaks himself out. It's like, "Well, see ya," and wanders off.
They miss out on that because they don't intentionally meet up with him again.
No, he just chances his arm.
He bumps into BB-8.
Yes. It turns out,
went off together.
Yes, and this isn't revealed at this point. I want to mention it now because why not? Turns out that a lot of these people, they say all these people, but it can't be all these people. The bulk of these people are weapons dealers. Actually, I think Rose mentions that. Like, they're all people who have sold guns and weaponry and machinery to the New Order. And I really like that. It fleshes out your universe a bit because there's people profiting from this, and later we find out they're also selling weapons to the rebellion. They don't have a say in this apart from what their wallet dictates.
Yeah, and
I like that.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a perfectly realistic thing.
Yes, people make money off of conflicts.
Yeah, always good for business. As
yes,
say.
There are businesses that are reaping in massive profits from all areas because of this whole thing.
So I found the Casino Escape to be a bit too Disney for my liking.
I wish they'd spent more time in the casino.
Okay.
I liked it as a world.
It's not something I expected to hear from you. You wanted to spend more time somewhere. Overran movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe strip a lot of the other stuff out or put it in a different thing. I don't know, but I thought it was an interesting world, and they escape by they go down to like the animal because they're racing these things.
Yeah.
And the kids help them escape after they find out they're the rebellion because they're getting their asses beaten by this big fat guy.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And then they let all the animals out and they run riot. and Finn and Rose ride one out, and it can climb a cliff, and then they run
Yeah.
into a field of marijuana plants, and
Or some such thing.
yeah, space pot, and then they fall off, and then they let the thing go, and then Benicio del Toro shows up with BB-8, and then they get on the ship, and then they go.
Yeah. Yeah. That is summarised it quite nicely considering.
Thank you.
Yeah, I found the riding element of the escape to be a bit too Disney. Personally, I didn't like it.
There were some CG elements that stood out to me. It's like, yeah, for the most part, the CG is okay, but there are some parts that are a bit distracting. And there's this, and then there's a bit where they're escaping the blowing up ship later, which stood out to me. But yeah,
We so yeah, that happens. Heading back, we spent a bit more time with Ray.
yeah,
We at some point during all this we get topless Kylo Ren.
yes, we do.
Yes,
And
which is quite jarring.
she asked him to put a shirt on.
Yeah. I made a note here that they seem to have removed the romantic nature of the relationship between Ray and Finn because there was something going on there.
They seem
Right,
to,
in the first
yeah, they seem to suggest that might be where they were heading.
And they lean towards the makings of a romantic relationship between Ray and Ben and Finn and Rose.
Yeah, I want to say, I'm going to repeat what I said before in the last video, that I really like Kylo Ren.
Okay.
I really like it. He's got a real school shooter vibe. You know, he's this angsty kid.
Oh yes, everyone's favourite kid at school.
This angsty edgelord kid who's kind of in way over his head. You know, even Snoke's like, take that fucking mask off. You look like a knob. You know.
Yeah, he does.
It's just a really interesting take on that character type of the Sith Lord. He's a little edgelord. He's great. He might be one of the best characters in all of Star Wars, frankly, just from a characterization standpoint. I think
wait till you see what they do in the next one.
I look forward to them ruining it. I think
Maybe you'll like it. Maybe you'll like it. Okay.
In a sequel trilogy that has so far lifted so fucking heavily from the past, he is at this point at least a fucking breath of fresh air. It's so nice to have an original fucking thought, you know.
Yeah, I get that. There's a couple of things. We have a point where Ray understands that Luke has cut himself off from the Force.
Yes.
But he can still use Force powers.
Yeah.
Which seems like he hasn't cut himself off from the Force.
I don't.
To me.
I don't know.
My reason for this, and I know you won't have seen it, but in the Kenobi TV series, Obi-Wan has cut himself off from the Force.
Yeah.
Because he's in hiding, right? He's expecting us to be that's it, that's everything.
Yeah.
And he struggles with using the Force because he's cut himself off. He has to basically retrain himself to do stuff.
Yeah.
It has to work with it, and yet here Luke supposedly cut himself off, but it's all perfectly fine. It doesn't sit right with me. From a one film perspective, from a movie's perspective, it's fine, but from extra knowledge, it doesn't sit.
Jordan, remember that thing I put a pin in?
Yeah.
I'm pointing at it.
Okay.
Just remember that's there, okay?
Oh, it's coming up again in a minute.
we'll fucking see that again.
Obviously Ray decides to leave at some point.
Yeah.
Around here, it's sometime around here.
Oh yeah, because she finds out Luke tried to kill him, and she's like, "Fuck that! I can save him."
Yep. And then Luke decides he's going to destroy the book.
Yes.
Which I quite liked this scene.
I did. He goes up.
I found amusement there, and I found
he goes
visually
up,
good.
He goes up with his torch, set fire to it, and then he notices something's behind him, and it's our good friend Yoda, who looks an awful lot like Chucky.
I thought I really liked his look because it was a more original trilogy look than we had.
Yes.
Than I was expecting. It feels almost like they got the original trilogy puppet.
Yeah, a bit. I looked at the mouth and was like, that looks so much like Chucky from Child's Play. But yes, Yoda's there. and like Luke can't fully bring himself, and he's like, okay, I'll do it. So he summons lightning.
Yep. Oh, that pin you put in.
Yeah, just a quick sideways glance. I'm sort of fine with that to an extent, although maybe not. But yeah,
This is other than Ben Kenobi sitting on a log. This is the first proper time we see the Force Ghost interfering with the physical world.
bit of a jump.
It is. He does that, and then he hits him on the head, doesn't he?
Yes.
I think with his stick.
I mean, they've had longer to get used to. I don't know.
Obviously Luke is not happy with the fact that this lightning has happened, because obviously he couldn't go through with it. And Yoda's line there tickles me.
Well, where he's talking about, oh, they were page turners, weren't they? Is that it?
Yeah, that thing. Read them, have you?
I so wanted him to go. Well, I mean, I've skimmed them.
Yeah,
it's like there is nothing new in these. We know this. This is established fact. You know.
Yeah, this is just.
It's sort of
everything in it she already knows.
Yes, these are physical things. They don't matter. Yoda does not have these attachments.
Yeah, and I thought this was overall. I thought that was a good scene.
Yeah, I do like that. I do. I like how Yoda says he's missed him, and sort of takes a piss a little bit.
Well, that's what Yoda does, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice to see Yoda in his senile phase again, like he was in Empire, which was great.
Well, I mean, to be fair, this is the most we've seen of him since Empire.
Although
he did. Well, no, I mean, he was in Return, wasn't he? But he wasn't.
I suppose in Empire, that was an act he was putting on to sort of get the measure of Luke, because he turned serious pretty quick. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, maybe he's just stopped giving a shit ever since he died. It's not his problem anymore.
I suppose. I mean, once he noped out of there by I'm not telling you anymore. I'm going to sleep. I'm going to die. Deal with it.
Bye.
And then disappeared completely. Yeah. We go back to the rebels. We go back to the resistance at this point.
Yes, and
there's a mutiny.
Yes.
Mike, can you guess exactly what words I wrote down?
It's a trap.
No. But you're on the right idea.
Oh, I don't know what.
It's mutiny then.
Yes. Yeah, they a bunch of the crew who are fed up with not doing anything and seemingly just running away, as the rest of their ships get blown up one by one. Because the Empire are chasing them and they can't go to hyperspace because they'll be tracked and they're running out of fuel.
Not the Empire, the First Order.
Whatever. It's come on, man. It's the same fucking.
No, you just get it right, because there'll be some knobhead in the comments who'll be like, "Oh, actually."
Also, you're boring.
Job for them.
Yes, all right. Yeah, I'm all right with some knobhead in the comments. I've got some knobhead right here. But yes, yeah, the First Order are chasing them. They can't go to hyperspace. They haven't got much fuel left, and they'll just end up following them, and then they'll be sitting ducks. So a bunch of the crew have a mutiny, and they overthrow Laura Dern and her friend, possibly lesbian lover, and they go up to the bridge, and then Laura Dern starts fighting back, and because she's evacuating people.
Yeah, she's fueling up some escape shuttles.
Yeah,
haven't got weapons. Haven't got anything.
Yeah, and Poe's like, you're worse than a coward. You're a traitor, and they stun them. And she's completely fucking right.
Yeah.
She's doing the sensible thing because she's a seasoned commander who knows what she's doing and knows what's important, and he's just some hotshot pilot, and he learns that throughout this film. Yes, so the gist is they want to hold on until the tractor thing is dealt with and they can escape fully.
Yep.
And they're in the control room and the fight breaks out and then the door starts getting cut into.
Yep.
It's like, oh god, we're bracing for a fight. And then the door falls down and it's Princess Leia.
It is.
And
General
Leia. And Poe's like, Leia? And then Leia fucking shoots him.
I got a shot of that. Because I wanted to include that. Yeah.
Which I liked because I like that there's infighting in the rebellion. Again, it goes back to the whole they're not just faceless good guy soldiers. You know, they're actually
Yeah.
fucking people. And B, I like that Leia's just fucking shoots him because she's smart enough and she trusts this admiral person who she's presumably known for a good while.
Yeah,
And she knows what she's doing.
Vice Admiral.
Yes, she's not going to
Don't
throw.
promote her.
Yeah, she's not going to throw away her troops pointlessly. She knows this is the right thing to do. Yeah,
And objectively, it is.
it
actually
is.
The right thing to do.
It is the right fucking thing to do. And Poe was totally out of order because he called this woman who was doing her best a coward and a traitor.
Now, I do feel like she, despite the whole demotion thing,
She should
I
have
do feel
explained
like
the
it
plan.
I don't think it would have been a terrible idea for her to say something.
Yeah,
Say, look, I have a plan. This is what it is. You got to sit tight. It's going to be fine.
because presumably she didn't tell anybody. That everybody
Well,
who was just getting onto
crew.
well, yeah, everybody who was getting onto those ships was just following orders essentially, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she could have made like a Tannoy announcement. And certainly knowing Poe's character as she did at that point, because she had an idea of the sort of guy he was. It probably would have been sensible to go, look, I do have a plan. We're going to get out of here to this. We're going to fly over to Not Hoth.
Yeah, more than that.
And yeah, this is totally fine. Instead, she like keeps it quiet, and it does look. If you're in Poe's sort of frame of mind, and the way the character is played, it does sort of seem like she's going to be a villainous character that they're going to have to overcome. Yeah, you can buy.
It's a misdirection, which you can see is misdirection because it's Disney and they're fucking awful at it.
This, well, I sort of didn't see it like that. Again, this sort of plays out like a good episode of Star Trek. I can imagine this being on TNG, where Riker or somebody is in a position with an alien species where he's like, we need to fight back, and they're not telling him anything, and he stages a mutiny, and it turns out that no, they were right all along.
Actually, I watched an episode of Voyager
Yeah.
just yesterday, which was very similar to this, in where Seven thought she'd been attacked by an alien, and they investigate it, and the investigation leads him to basically have to run away because there's nothing left, and it kills him.
I vaguely. I see. I mean, we can talk more about this when we do the other videos. I vaguely, now that you're talking about it, I vaguely recall watching an episode and was being like, "Oh, this is about rape."
Yeah,
but we'll do that at a different time. Yeah. So
tune in next week for Star Trek Rape Case.
Yes. Actually,
that sounded a bit too upbeat, actually, didn't it? Sorry.
Actually, there's a TNG episode which involves Riker in a sort of case like that, where he's accused of murdering this alien woman's husband because he wanted to fuck her.
Of Voyager where they do that.
Of course, they fucking do, because Voyager is the next generation, but not as good.
I don't know. Actually, depending on when it is, Voyager might have done it first.
I don't think so.
Isn't there some overlap?
No.
No.
I don't know. I don't think so. No, there isn't.
Oh well. After either way.
No, there definitely isn't.
Series. It's like episode 4 or 5 or something.
Because TNG finished in like 96, and Voyager started in like 97 or something. Because DS9 and TNG overlap, and Voyager and DS9. Anyway, what are we doing? We're talking about the other star thing. Where were we? Oh yeah, the mutiny.
I don't know.
Yeah, the mutiny fails. Or is resolved, that's fine. And Laura Dern stays behind.
Mm-hmm.
And Rose and Finn are on the ship. And the guy betrays them. And they put a trash can on B8. And they get captured. And Benicio del Toro sells them out immediately and leaves. Which, again, you could probably cut that character, really. Oh, and it's what's-her-face is back. Captain Plasma. Phantasmagoria lady, yeah.
I just want to very briefly say the Riker episode is 1990, the Voyager episode is 95. You are correct.
There you go.
LeVar Burton directed that episode of Voyager.
Yeah, they do that. They if they've been on it for a while, they're like, "Can I have a crack at directing?"
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's funny to me that he's probably in the other episode.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's like a court case on the holodeck or something. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get. Yeah.
They get caught. It's this whole thing. DJ sells them out. because that's what he does. Blah blah. Blah.
Yeah, they're going to execute them slowly, and then
Ray is with Snoke at this point.
yes,
and
that's
Ray.
right. We completely fucking forgot about that. Yeah,
Very important we took cover this because
Yes.
this interferes directly with the other bit.
Yeah, go on.
So, when I hear Snoke talking,
Yeah,
I can hear Andy Serkis talking.
I heard him talking and was like, "Who played? That's played by somebody I know." Somebody.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah, I looked it up. It was Andy Serkis. I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah, no, that's good." Yeah,
Having seen him act as Andy Serkis
yeah,
in things, rather than it being a visual, voiceover role,
yeah,
and motion capture,
yeah.
I could hear his voice in there, which is
Yeah.
not something I could do last time I watched this.
Yeah. Snoke again, and I don't mind. I'm not going to point to the sign this time because I don't mind Snoke being super overpowered because he is super overpowered. But it only really works if he's the only one who has that degree of power. But he is, but there are others that are not too far behind. Frankly,
Yeah. He does his whole spiel, doesn't he, about
yeah,
how Kylo's gonna turn his lightsaber and kill his true enemy.
yeah,
And then he gets sliced in half because Kylo turned the lightsaber around and sliced him in half.
yeah.
And I can't help but wonder if that made the narrative true or not. I mean, I know from a meta perspective what the deal is there, but is it a bit telling about Snoke's real nature if that's what happens?
What do you mean?
Snoke supposedly can see the future.
Okay.
He's saying no, because he does it, doesn't he? That's what he's talking about. It's this whole fucking thing.
I
He's foreseen these things.
I didn't think he'd seen that bit. I thought he was like looking into Kylo Ren's heart, and Kylo Ren was using the Force to hide his feelings, or the full extent of what he was about to do.
A Legiman's of Clemency style thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Just to bring him to another franchise.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about Harry Potter?
Fucking Star Trek.
Fucking 20 minutes.
Well, why not, right?
Yeah. John Lithgow as Dumbledore. Wow. Anyway.
Oh my god. Will he survive long enough? We'll have to get someone else in.
I know, but he is coming back to Dexter, which is great. Do you want to do Dexter next?
No.
Okay. Come on, let's get through it.
So, okay. So that happens. Ray's like, "Oh, come with me, Ben," and Ben's like, "No, I don't want to do that." But no, I've skipped a bit. There's the fight against the red guys.
Yeah, which I like, but goes on too long.
I like that fight as well. It's nice to see the Red Guard people actually fucking doing something.
And it's nice.
I made this point in Return of the Jedi. They're there. They don't fucking do anything.
Yeah.
And we get to actually see it now.
It's nice to see a Sith and a Jedi fighting side by side. But I do have to question, I guess that armor's resilient to blasters.
Must be.
Because they've got melee weapons. If like a fucking Colombian hit squad came in to take out Snoke. I mean, I don't know.
He'd use the Force, wouldn't he?
Well, yeah, true. But if they managed it somehow.
Yeah, well.
You know.
Either way, that's a thing.
Well,
I like the fight.
Yeah.
This whole thing about how she wants him to go with her and he wants to stay with him.
Yes.
And they argue over the lightsaber.
I mean, at this point, I was like, I knew it was never going to do it. But I thought, wouldn't it be fucking interesting if they did join and we took it in a completely different direction?
Okay.
You know, and I'm begging this franchise to do something fucking interesting, and I know it won't. I just thought, fucking do something, you know? That would be, let's explore that.
He says something here about her parents, about how they are nobodies.
Yeah, I think that's going to be retconned, but I like that idea.
Well, I mean, obviously, you already know what her lineage is.
I feel like it's a Palpatine Force-created baby thing or some shit.
Now, you know her grandfather, contextually, is Palpatine, right?
Okay.
You must have known that.
I mean,
it lasted this long.
I think I heard it in a review. I'm just trying to figure it. Does that mean Palpatine had a daughter or a son?
Apparently, that from my understanding is that he had actual children.
Okay.
And that means that technically Rey's parents are nobodies, but only because for somebody it's the grandfather, Grandpapa Palpatine.
I mean, we'll probably come on to this more in the next one, but I
Yeah.
feel like that's a very interesting setup that could have, you establish somebody as the hero character and somebody as the villain, then you switch them partway through.
Yeah, there's potential there, isn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they fight over the lightsaber, and then it gets split in half.
Yeah, and
The
explodes.
lightsaber, the Skywalker family lightsaber is no more. At long fucking last.
Wasn't it green? Where did I can't keep track of these lightsabers. I thought Luke lost it.
Yeah, okay, so this is Anakin's lightsaber that Obi-Wan
Kept
picked up
hold
from
of.
on Mustafar.
Yeah.
He gave it to Luke, who lost it in the battle with Darth Vader on Bespin.
Yeah.
Maz Kanata at some point got a hold of it, presumably after turning tricks on Ugnaughts.
I want to see that movie.
Of course you do. Rey got it from sorry. Finn took it.
Yeah.
From Maz. It got to Rey, and she tried to give it back to Luke. Didn't. He wouldn't take it. She kept hold of it. Came to this place, and now it's been destroyed.
But he does have the green one in the flashback, doesn't he?
Yes.
I like that. That's clever. I don't mean clever as in like that. Oh, that's just being smart about continuity.
That'll be because that's the one that he had in Return
Yeah,
of the Jedi.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
if he'd had the blue lightsaber, it would have been like that doesn't make any sense. But he doesn't. He's got he's got the right lightsaber in that moment. Yeah.
I feel like I recall, and I don't know if it was fan theory or convoluted canon, but I feel like I saw something about that lightsaber supposedly, the green one, supposedly being Qui-Gon.
What?
I can't remember. You can't quote me on it.
But he made it.
He what?
He made that green lightsaber.
We don't see him make it though.
But
it's not
Darth Vader says.
Yeah, but he's not going to necessarily know.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I'm just saying.
I hate Star Wars.
I know you do. I know. We have a lightspeed ram.
Yeah, that's one of those. It's one of those scenes where it's like, I feel like she would. I feel like I was thinking about how I feel. I feel like she wouldn't have gone like cut through it. She would have just exploded. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those scenes that got a lot of criticism at the time for being stupid.
It was. It continues to. I just want to say, I said last time that each one of these 3 films does something to fuck with lightspeed travel. This is what this film does. Now, the argument is always very much that the ability to do that is a 1 in a million chance because of all the different factors that need to be in play. You need to have enough time, enough distance to get up to the right speed, but not to actually fully enter hyperspace. Being one of the things. So you need to actually be able to, like, they know that she's firing up the hyperdrive.
So is hyperspace like not a pocket dimension, but like a wormhole or something?
I think so. I think that's the gist of it. It's not quite, but it sort of loosely interferes with real space at the same time.
Yeah,
because the whole thing, we might accidentally crash into an asteroid or whatever. So it's complicated.
I mean, honestly,
they do fuck with it a bit.
Yeah.
Because obviously, if this was such a thing, if this was a thing that could have been done, why would they not just have a droid do it to the Death Star, right? Because it would work. It would just fucking work, wouldn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
so that's the main critique, is that it's a bit stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it wipes out basically the entire fleet that's there.
And it's for no reason as well in the end, because a load of the she does it because she only does it for one reason, and the reason she does it is because the transports are getting blown up.
Yes, because Benicio del Toro told the First Order, not the Empire, about it, and now they've picked them up on their scanners or whatever and are shooting them.
Because they weren't picking up on scanners before, because they were so focused on the big ship.
Yeah.
Which is why that's why the plan was going to work, but it didn't work because they tried to do the other plan. So another example of follow orders, or you don't, or you get a load of people killed.
Yeah, trust the people who are experienced. Don't go waving your dick about like a twat.
Yeah.
So
they go to They go to Hoth. There was one teeny tiny bit just before.
Well, hang on. We haven't. There's a whole fight in the falling apart
Oh, okay, yeah.
ship.
Sorry,
First,
they did such a shit job of it. Of her character, I almost forgot about her.
yeah, I know that was entirely pointless. Phasma and Poe or Finn fight, and she falls down the hole and burns.
Yes.
So that, yeah, complete. What the fuck was?
Just about the only person to die from a fall and stay dead.
There was no fucking point in that. I mean, I said last time it should have just been like a snooty officer who was in charge of Finn's unit,
Yeah.
and then this should have just been, well, nothing.
Yeah.
Frankly, so they escape, and Hux runs up to see Snoke
Yep.
and fight, and then his bottom half falls off the chair,
Yep.
and he's like, "Oh fuck, what happened? What the fuck happened?"
There's this wonderful. It's very brief, but you can see a moment where Hux is looking at killing Ren.
Yes, he reaches through. He's like, "Now's my chance."
This is the opportunity, and I like that little moment there.
I do like their relationship, and I like how it evolves throughout, specifically this film and the film before.
Just you wait.
Oh God. Yeah. So Kylo Ren wakes up just before Hux is about to shoot him, and Hux is like, "What happened?" And Kylo Ren immediately blames Rey.
Yep.
And then he starts.
Even though it was,
Yeah. Then he starts giving orders. Rey incidentally has escaped in the private shuttle for Snoke. And I don't mind that Snoke is dead at this point, having not seen the other film. This seems like a good mid-part twist. This is promising.
The guy in charge now is going to be
Yes.
Smash Hux.
Yes. This is a good mid-part sort of twist for me at this point, but we'll see. Yes. So Kylo Ren blames Rey, and then starts giving orders. And Hux is like, "Who the fuck do you think you are? The Supreme Leader is dead. There is no leader." And then Kylo Ren starts choking him, and Hux is like, "Yeah, okay, you're the boss now."
Supreme Leader is dead. Long live the Supreme Leader.
Yes. So then, presumably they evacuate. I don't even know.
Well, they send ships down to the
not Hoth, Salt Hoth.
Yeah.
As it's pointed out very awkwardly later on by some random guy.
Yes. Now I made a point of that scene because it is that salt licking thing is literally just to make it clear that it's not Hoth.
Yeah,
the only reason that exists.
I thought it was Hoth right up until that moment. I was like, oh, okay, this is a callback. They've gone to a planet or a moon.
I feel like they had told us the planet name at that point.
Yeah.
No, I know you're shit with names, so that's
well, I think I did remember that they mentioned a name and it wasn't Hoth, but I was like, is that the planet they're talking about? And the moon is Hoth, and they're on the moon. I couldn't quite remember it, and then they put it.
It's just Crate. It's an entirely different planet.
And then they pointed out it was Salt, and it was like, oh, okay. But the base looks like Echo Base.
No, it doesn't.
It looks a bit like Echo Base. It's got a big door.
It's nowhere near Echo Base enough.
Eh.
The whole terrain is way different to Hoth.
Eh.
It's fucking salt flats rather than...
All right. Calm down.
Like you don't even know your Star Wars.
It's like I couldn't give a shit, isn't it? Anyway, so Kylo Ren, who is now not wearing his mask, having trashed it in the lift after his evil space daddy made fun of it, he comes down with his big walkers.
Oh my god, you just don't understand me, Sabrina.
Oh, I fucking love that character. I just think he's what a breath of fresh air. What a great take. Rather than some big...
I can't wait.
Rather than some big hulking generic Sith Lord Darth Vader ripoff.
Let me just find a GIF while you waffle on.
So yeah, they go down to the planet, and everybody's hunkered down in the base, and there's a bit of a fight, and they get in the trenches like Hoth.
That's going to be you next film.
For the record, because we're using pictures, Jordan has sent me the "Look how they massacred my boy" gif from The Godfather, so I look forward to that. So they get all these clunky fighters, and they're flying towards the space death laser battering ram thing.
Yeah, which is fucking stupid.
Mm. Um, we can't go one fucking film without a reference to the Death Star. Fuck me.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, it gets worse.
oh god. So
Just fucking wait. Look at how we massacred our boy.
so they're pumping this weapon up, and Poe demonstrating growth is like, this isn't worth it. We need to fall back because we're going to get our asses handed to us, and we won't accomplish anything much.
Mhm.
So most of them pull back, but Finn wants to sacrifice himself nobly to save the door, which is,
Yep.
can we agree, objectively the right call?
I completely agree with you.
And
I literally wrote, honestly, they should have let Finn suicide run to completion.
yes, and he's almost there as well. It's not even a case of he would never have made it. I'm pretty sure he would have done it,
Yeah.
judging
yeah,
from the
absolutely.
timings.
He was at peace with things.
Yeah.
He went from wanting to run away from the resistance to being prepared to die.
Yes, it's another good. Rose could have taken that character's place. I guess his arc could have been completed. It would have been another way to make the second entry, sort of dark and oh gosh, everything has gone to shit.
Yep.
And then Rose crashes into him.
Yeah, she fucked things up a bit.
Yeah, it would have been funny if she crashed into him and they both blown up and died. It would have been entirely pointless. But yes, because of her, the door is breached.
Yep.
But luckily, Luke's here.
Oh my god. He
And
got there quick.
he has a nice little chat with Leia. He winks at C-3PO,
Yep.
presumably not wanting to start a fucking conversation with that prick.
Yeah.
And then he goes out because he knows that Kylo Ren won't hold back and will come down and face him.
Mm-hmm.
And Kylo Ren and Hux are in the same thing and have a good bit of banter because they clearly fucking hate each other.
They fire everything they have at Luke, and it does nothing.
And
it is literally fucking everything they have.
And at this point, Jordan,
Yeah.
I want to draw your attention again to that sign about
Okay.
force. The force is not funny gimmicks; it's being in touch with spirituality and shit like that. Yeah, no, he's completely fine.
He is. Oh my god, how the hell?
I know, right? And I know why. I do know why, but I'm still pointing to the fucking sign because I still think it's bullshit.
So Kylo Ren's like, look, I'll deal with this myself. As
Yeah.
if, for some reason, one man being blasted by God knows how many blasters. I just want to say the Walkers, they were like gorilla feet for the fish.
Yes,
the
I
feet were
saw.
like
I
gorilla
did know. I
fists.
did
And
know
I quite
that.
liked that touch. It's a nice. It's a silly little design change, but it sort of makes sense to me. It feels right.
Yeah.
A bit more tactile, a bit more.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Eh.
It feels like an upgrade.
Maybe it's because then they can climb things. I don't know. Like those hands
Maybe,
unfurl a bit. It makes a
I
sort of
feel
sense.
like perhaps they wouldn't necessarily be weak to the flaw of the original one, where a fucking rope can take them.
Yeah, maybe not. I don't know. You'd think they'd have improved that design flaw, but
Because they bend the other way, don't they? That's what it is.
yeah.
So
I
don't know.
Yes.
Anyway,
So Kylo Ren goes
Kylo
down.
goes down.
Yeah, Kylo Ren goes down to fight, and they have a chat. And Luke's.
We get a callback to a line he said earlier.
What was that?
So there's a point where Ray and Luke are talking, and he says to her, every single word of what you just said was wrong.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then Kylo says something about how he'll go in there and he'll kill Luke, and he'll laminate the last.
The rebellion is
take
finished.
resistance out.
The rebellion is finished. The war is over, and the Jedi are finished. And Luke's like,
And then
everything you just said was wrong.
yeah, and it's just a silly little,
And then they have a fight. And Luke,
it's more of a one-sided thing, to be fair. Luke's just dodging.
yeah, and then Luke says, "If you strike, he just is told, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine." Type thing, where he's like, "If you kill me out of anger, I'm going to haunt you forever, bitch."
So Ren stabs him.
Yeah,
It does nothing. It just goes through him.
and he turns around and he's still there, and it's like, "Wait, what?" I'm tapping the sign a bit harder now.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And it turns out Luke has been astral projecting himself across the galaxy to have a sword fight with his nephew.
Yes. Well, a conversation, really.
I mean,
Not a sword fight again. Now, I just want to point out two. I've got a point and a question.
yeah,
One, they do mention force projection earlier in this film, and they say that someone it wouldn't be strong enough to do it. I think it was Kylo. No, Kylo says that Rey isn't powerful enough to project across the galaxy. So they do set up for it. In that sense,
I still. I mean, I don't.
Look, I completely understand what you're saying.
I think it falls in. I
think
think it falls into the general argument that the Force has never felt more overpowered.
Yes,
These feel like characters in video games. It's like Lego Star Wars, where the Force ghosts can fight.
It's worth noting that there's that thing that I was saying when we were talking about I think it was on Revenge of the Sith actually, about how the Force is potentially diluted because of how many Jedi there were. Are
you saying because there's so few, Luke is over getting all that power?
Potentially, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, it's not
as a potential.
Look, it's not a bad theory. I mean, I like it in a way. I sort of don't like it in a lot of other ways, but.
Well, we've not got all these other Jedi to keep. The Force an entity hasn't got all these other Jedi to keep tabs on. It's like, well, I might as well hang out with him.
It just sort of suggests the idea that the Force is finite.
Well,
there's only so much available. I don't know. Maybe he's been taking midichlorian steroid injections.
It must be finite in some sense, or else there'd be no such thing as balance or imbalance, would there? It'd just be.
I guess. I don't know. I think the Jedi are talking out their arse.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time. I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
When did you find out that Luke wasn't there? When did you realise he wasn't actually there?
When I saw him sat on the rock.
Okay, fair enough.
So I assumed there was some real fucking Force bullshit at play when he survived all that shooting. I thought, okay, we're just going hell for leather, are we? It wasn't quite as bad as all that, but
there was one very specific clue that they gave that he wasn't really there.
Yeah.
And they led into it in the scene where the bloke licked the salt.
Oh, we didn't leave any footprints.
There weren't any footprints.
All right.
Just like Jesus in that parable or whatever.
I thought that guy was bleeding.
Oh, okay.
I saw his foot. It's like, is there a point to the guy? Is it just to show they're really fucked up? This guy's seriously wounded and is leading. Oh, it's salt. Okay. The salt turn red when you step on it.
No, but it's like it's salt. The salt is just like a covering on this otherwise red rock.
All right. Okay.
So he's left a footprint where he's picked up the salt and he's left the ground behind. Is my understanding of the situation.
So Luke was either
Luke's not there.
He's either injured in that fight or he's used up so much energy because it does look like it takes a lot. In fairness.
Absolutely.
He's weak. How does he die? Is it because he was stabbed? Force ghost stabbed? Or
no. It'll just be the overexertion of it.
Oh right, okay.
Drains what little life he has left.
Well, that's something. That's something. It's not as egregious as I thought, but I still think the point stands.
He's one last great effort.
Yes.
Was to save the resistance.
And he takes a moment to. Yeah, they realise that he's buying time. He's playing for time.
So they find an escape out the back, which apparently didn't exist, but does.
Yeah, it's just a little hole in the rock, and they're like, fuck, because all the salt dogs went out there. But yes, Luke.
The crystal foxes.
Whatever. Luke takes one last moment to look at a twin sunset, and I
like that touch.
I do too, but I sort of wish that it hadn't been like an important Jedi planet. And it had just seemed like he just found some back island shithole to live on, and then we see the double sunset. It's like, it's because it reminds him of Tatooine.
It is interesting to me that they made so much fucking effort right up until they actually showed that to make it to hide the fact that it was a double sunset. Like to the point of we saw a singular sun in the sky in the seconds leading up to it.
Shouldn't it be
the wider shot?
Shouldn't it be hotter?
Well, we don't know how far away they are, do we?
Yeah, they don't look too far away in terms of what Tatooine was.
We don't know what the atmosphere composition's like. There's a lot of things at play here, and Tatooine used to be an ocean planet. So
right. This is okay. Well, that's happy future for this place, isn't it?
Oh, Luke's dead. It don't matter.
Yeah, he's not milking ugly mermaids anymore. That was a good scene where he was milking that mermaid.
The blue milk out of the. Yeah.
And then he drank it. Yeah.
Luke wasn't the only Force projection, though, was he?
Was he?
Hans Dice
Oh yeah, that. Where was
which
that always there? The dice, is that a thing?
I don't remember him in the original trilogy. But the thing is, I made a point of the fact that they'd made so much emphasis about Hans dice in Solo, which is, I
Yeah,
believe, a movie that came out after this.
I do vaguely recall that. Yeah, we've
So
got to
it's
give
like
that fucking
they really
dice law. We've got to explain
well
that.
exactly we've got to do it. But yeah, so Ray ends up saving the resistance by force moving and stuff. We didn't mention the fact that she turns up at the opportune moment, just like in what do we call it,
A
A
New
New Hope,
Hope. Yeah.
in with the Falcon and Chewbacca and the Porgs.
Yeah.
And Chewbacca here demonstrates just how underrated a pilot he really is.
Yeah.
He did a fucking magnificent job of piloting the
He
ship,
did.
single-handedly.
He's a
Well,
very
not
good
single. He's got
boy.
two hands, but she's shooting, he's piloting, and it all goes fucking awesome for them. There's no stress or anything.
And there was a Porg on there which will never see its home ever again.
Yeah, probably. I suppose that mean that Chewie will eat it then. Put it out
Well,
in its misery.
well, no, he can't bring himself to. He will keep it as a co-pilot, and they will grow fond of one another. He'll bring it home for Lumpy.
Oh, okay, if you say so.
Um,
So yeah, the Resistance is all in the Falcon. That's the only ship they've got left. They
yeah,
fuck
there's
off.
like 20 of them left.
Yeah, the Sparks or whatever.
Yeah,
And then we cut back to Canto Bight, don't we? Very briefly.
hang on.
You
What?
think we've forgotten something? We
Can
go back to Canto Bight very briefly. The Casino Planet.
do we? Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Shit, yeah,
For the very ending of this film.
yeah. There's a kid who's they're telling the story of Luke Skywalker, the legend, and I really like Luke's attitude to that. By the way,
Yeah.
I like all their attitudes to that. They're all so fucking tired. I love it. Um, yes, he's playing with his doll and showing the other kids, and then
And he
his
gets
the fat guy
forced to go
comes
back to
in,
work.
and then he stands and looks at the stars and looks at his Rebel Alliance thing. And what a great ending for the Star Wars franchise that is, that scene. Because the fight goes on, it's like the next generation, and like our millions of kids all around this great planet of ours are inspired by Star Wars, and thank God they never did any more films.
You missed a very key point from that scene.
Oh, did he use the Force to get the mob?
Yeah, the mop or broom or whatever. He used the force to pull it towards him a little bit.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Because of course they had to fucking shoehorn that in, didn't they?
Why can't he just be a normal kid?
Well, because no one's just normal in the fucking Star Wars films.
No,
Even if they are, it turns out they're not. It turns out they're related to some long lost fucking Jedi or Sith or I don't know the lesser known grey Jedi book clencher muck fuckface.
fucking fucking General Grievous's stepson or something.
Yeah, who it turns out has even more arms.
Yeah, yeah,
Because his kidneys got twisted by.
yeah. And the reason General Grievous has a cough, it's revealed, is because he gave one of his lungs to his stepson in a rare moment of generosity, and that's why he has that cough.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, so how does this one rank in your? This is my least favourite of all of them. I genuinely think this is the worst one.
Really?
I do. I really do. There's moments that are good.
Why
But-
do you, why? Not because it impacts the next film. Why do you hate this so or dislike this as much as you do, based on its own merits?
I feel like it's a fucking. And don't get me wrong, some of the others are a fucking mess as well. But it feels like much more of a fucking mess. And that's
Yeah.
the point I made. I wrote down that I expected you to say.
What?
Ben will say this film has too much going on.
It does have too much going on.
There we go. And my next point, and make a point to show him this when he says it.
I did say right at the beginning, like I've said it for I think every single Star Wars film to varying extents. You could cut a chunk out of this, and it would be fine. They're too long, but this one is like, God, there's a lot of jumping about. There's a lot of scenes that
more
drag.
than in the others, you know.
Yeah.
Like, we've got three different groups of people we're following.
Yeah.
And it's I think it's the Finn and Rose thing that puts it over the edge.
Yeah.
Personally, because they're jumping from Rebels to Casino to to Snoke's ship to Crate to it's all over fucking place.
That's why I asked if this was a longer film than the others, because it felt like it, because there's more going on and we're all over the place. It needs streamlining.
If it is, it's only maybe 5-10 minutes. It's not.
Yeah, it feels
It's
like
not a
so much.
substantial amount of time.
You told me that I took half an hour longer to watch this film than it should have when I told you I'd finished, and I thought it fucking felt like it.
Did you pause it a lot?
I can't think.
Oh, okay.
I genuinely can't think. I don't think I did.
It took me about 3 hours to watch it, but I was
I don't think I did, but just
I
that
was working. So
that battle scene where Laura Dern sacrifices herself. It's like what that I watched that and was like, oh, the final battle is over, and then we've got another 20 minutes.
Yeah, because at that point we've still got the ground battle, but isn't really much of a battle.
Yeah, it's the pacing is all off. It is a bit of a mess. It is a bit of a mess.
I think it is because of how much of a mess it is. Like I say, some of the other films are complete messes as well. This one I think is worse than the others. I think the way that it sort of disregards what was being set up in the first one.
See, I'm sort of. I wonder whether that's just because
Maybe it is.
You know how
I can't eliminate that knowledge.
You know the background knowledge, and you know how this turns out. Because from my perspective, I'm looking at this having not seen the third one, knowing about the background stuff, and thinking, "Oh, okay, this is that killing Snoke. That's good setup for we've escalated things. Things have changed. It's maybe wasted a great villain. Maybe could have played a bit better. But conceptually, I think I'm fine with that."
There's two ways of looking at the sequel trilogy. I would say is either you've got the first film's all right and leading in starts off like a trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
The second one twists that, and the third one undoes the second.
Yeah.
Or the first one starts the trilogy, the second one fucks it up, and the third one tries to fix it.
Yeah, the third one is
I'm
course
more
correcting.
in the,
yeah.
I'm more in the second camp there.
Yeah.
Personally, based on my knowledge of the trilogy as a whole, maybe you'll lean towards the first camp, and that's perfectly
We'll
fine.
have to
It's a
see.
perfectly valid way of
I mean, there are, as I said, there's a lot of things that I really like. Well, I say a lot. There's a few things I really think are fucking excellent in this. I love Kylo Ren still. I think he's fucking brilliant. I really love the Luke stuff. The Luke stuff is great.
I feel like Luke's character in this is my favorite character in this movie.
Yeah,
the way that they present him, and again, I said it last time. They put their eggs in the wrong legacy character.
I know, right? Fucking hell.
Based on, I know it's not Carrie Fisher's fault that she died. That's
No.
how these things happen. But if they'd kept Luke alive in this film, the ending could have been so different.
Or just killed Leia off in that explosion, or kept her in like a critical condition. I don't know. I'll find out how they get around that. I think they use old footage and just sort of make the best of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't dislike this film as much as you do. It is a mess. It does feel like it goes on for fucking eternity. It does need tightening a lot. But there's some things I really like. So I don't, and the prequels feel like there's more of a structure. I think the issue I have with the prequels is that it's just there's a great story in George Lucas's head, but he is not the person to write it or direct it.
Yeah, the original trilogy was a one movie that turned into a trilogy.
Yes.
The prequels was a trilogy that was made into a trilogy, but it's a bit of a mess, and it doesn't all work, but it's generally okay.
There's something there. The
sequels started as the general gist of a trilogy, but sort of derailed a little bit in the middle. That's the consensus, is that the middle one's a mistake.
I don't know. I think you can, as messy as this film is, I think you can run with it. I think you can run with it.
But you're basing that on having not seen the third one.
Yeah, we'll have to see what I think of that. But as far as I'm concerned, I think I don't even know. I think the things I really like about this film put it up for me. I don't know where I'd put it, to be honest. I think it's better than the prequels and Solo. I don't know whether it's better than Return of the Jedi. Because the worst thing I can say about this movie is it's a fucking mess structurally. Well, not even structurally, it just goes on too long and there's too much in it.
I will be interested to know if watching the last one reevaluates.
Yeah, I mean the acting's good,
film.
the performances are good, the special effects didn't take away from anything. There's some interesting things in there and interesting character moments, which is more than I can say for a lot of the prequels. So yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can respect your stance. I don't agree with it. But I can respect.
yeah.
I can see where you're coming.
I think yeah, this may be better than Return of the Jedi for me because
I think that's sacrilege.
I like Jabba's palace and I like the shit on the Death Star with the Emperor and Vader and Luke. But there's a lot of stuff in the middle which is just
Yep.
and I love the Ewoks, but I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd rather watch this again than Empire, or not Empire, fucking hell, than Return of the Jedi. I think this is my fifth.
Wow.
I think this is my fifth. Sorry. Fuck
But
you.
Rogue One's better than this, yeah.
um.
Because you had that third or fourth, didn't you?
Yeah, that's my third. It goes Empire, A New Hope, Rogue One. I mean, Rogue One has. I like the tone of Rogue One, and I like a lot of the stuff it's doing, and I like, I.
It's less of a mess.
It's got flaws. The villain shit, but it's yeah, it's better than I thought it would be. It's better than I thought it would be, and I can see why you like it as much as you do.
As long as this hasn't bested Rogue One.
As I said,
whatever
yeah, it hasn't. This has some really, really good things about it for me, but it's on the whole, it goes on too long, and it's as you say, it's a mess. But yeah, well, I am very interested to see what I make of the next one and the last one. Yeah.
I know we've alluded to it and mentioned it and outright stated it, but there is a quote unquote surprise returning character.
Is there?
Oh my god, there is.
Is it Wicket, the Ewok?
How the fuck did you know that? Actually, there is genuinely a surprise returning character, and I don't know if you'll notice them. But it'll be good. It'll be good to see if you do.
I think it's the pilot, the co-pilot Lando had when they did the run on the Death Star in the third one.
What, in the end, num?
Yeah.
That isn't who I was thinking, but I think he is in it as well.
Of course he fucking is. Fuck it, everybody gets a
honestly,
paycheck.
no, it's a nice cameo. It's only a cameo, but it's a nice thing to see.
Okay.
So I look forward to getting your reaction on that.
Okay. Well, we got Porkins Jr. in this one.
Did we?
Well, there was a fat guy who got blown up. So,
there wasn't there?
so yeah.
Okay.
But yes, I am looking forward to seeing what I think of it, and it's the last one we'll be doing. So yeah, we'll do that, and I guess we'll do like a full recap of the whole thing and figure out where we're placing shit.
Oh, I don't care.
I do.
I've already. You just look at the last one and see what I said, and then slot this in at the bottom. It's easy.
Bye.
Bye.